Greetings, my movie ghouls. Welcome to another episode of Halloween Countdown, 31 films in 31 days. Today is day 27, and tonight we watched As Above, So Below. So the premise of this story is a woman with so many PhDs and degrees and languages is going after the Philosopher's Stone, which everyone will know from Harry Potter. She's in Paris, so the best setting for that is the catacombs underneath the city. So she discovers clues to where it is and where Nicholas Flamel, who is supposed to have created the Philosopher's Stone, is buried. So she and a group of what are they?
They're like graffiti artists, but they go underground, so they know where all the tunnels and stuff are.
And someone who fixes old things as well. They all go underground and try and find this thing. And from the get-go, it's quite creepy. There's people who are in these catacombs, I don't know what, dancing and singing and humming.
Yeah, they look like Satanists.
Yeah, or pagans.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's quite a creepy little film, isn't it? What did you think?
Yeah, it's starts off in Syria, and she finds she's all straight away. Your sister watched it with us. Straight away, she didn't like her,
No.
and I get because I watched it before. It's the second time I've watched it, and I thought, watching it with a new person not seen it before and seeing what they're seeing, and it's she isn't a likeable character. She's puts people at risk just for the sake of trying to find archaeology, and it's a bit, you don't like her off the bat, and then it turns out the guy that she meets up with in Paris or wherever, he's fixing a clock. He's obviously some sort of engineer. She'd left him to rot in a Turkish jail for something that she'd gotten him involved with. So she's just not nice. She's too focused on the end goal and doesn't care who she throws under a bus to get it, basically. But it's a creepy film. It reminds me a lot of The Descent, because obviously it's not strictly caves, but it's underneath the ground. It's all forgotten catacombs and secret passages and things.
Well, it almost takes a leaf out of that film, doesn't it? Because they start climbing through the bones, and then someone gets stuck, and then there's a cave in.
Yeah. So there is.
So it's almost like they've used the idea to.
Yeah. But then they do they go down, and the deeper they get, not even the deeper they get to a certain point, and then it gets really confusing, and the guy's that shouldn't be there, and they're well, we've just been here, and he's you're not listening to me, there's something wrong, this shouldn't be here, we need to go back. And they don't listen to him, and they plough on, and then they go through these tunnels that were clearly sealed, and his graffiti tags in there,
and he said he's never been down there.
And he's look, I've not been here, and they're oh yeah, you have, you just, and you would listen to somebody, wouldn't you? He was clearly worried and wanted to get out of there, even with the premise that he was going to get all this treasure at the end. And they kind of all get picked off one by one. The guy that he knew was down there. He knew lived in the tunnels for years. And then he'd gone missing because he'd gone down this one unexplored tunnel that they said nobody goes down because they know something's wrong with it. And then he keeps appearing, doesn't he? But he's not really.
No, he's not really there, is he? He's almost.
And then they get to a certain point. They find Nicholas Flamel,
who is perfectly preserved, isn't he?
And they find the Philosopher's Stone and this treasure, but then it all caves in, but then they start to go through it, and then it's as above so below, so they go back through everything that they've just come down, so in the other order, because obviously you get this, then they stop from the other way, they're going this, and it's a clever film.
It's good. It's really disorientating
Yeah, it is, and I do think it is a bit scary.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've watched it twice, and tonight I was still like, ooh, it made me jump and it made me anxious, and I was like, oh no, it's creepy.
It's almost found footage again because it's all like cams on the heads and all that, but that it doesn't really.
It's not really bad shape.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It works in what they're trying to do and what they're trying to show.
It's a clever film. I don't really know any of the actors, I'll be honest. I don't know any of them. I'd say they're all fairly new. The guy who's like the American guy who's in Turkish jail.
Yeah, it looks like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, he's out of something, but I don't know what. But it's a fairly newish cast. I don't even know how old the film is. It's a few years old now.
Yeah.
But it is a good film. If you've not seen it, I would give it a whirl.
Yeah.
We maybe won't go into the ending. I don't know. Do you want to? We're doing spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, well, spoilers. You know the spoilers, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they do all get picked off pretty much one by one.
But it's different ways, so it's almost like it's personal hell.
Yeah, their own personal torture is what comes for them.
Yeah, there's moments at the beginning where the camera that's sorting something out and the camera focuses on this guy's burn marks on his hand, and it's like, oh well, why would they focus on that? And then you find out later that there was a car crash and a fire.
His friend died in it.
Yeah,
and he got out.
He blames himself, or it was his fault.
Yeah, and like the main character's younger brother drowned in a cave when they were only very young, and he blamed himself because he said, look, I'll come back for you, and he didn't, so he felt guilty, so he kept seeing his little brother like drowning and stuff. It's quite a hard film to watch, and
I think there's a lot of allusions to like Dante's Inferno, where one of the guys is sucked into a burning car and his feet are then sticking out of the ground. Like, I can't remember which Ring of Hell it was, but
it's a good film. If you've not seen it, I would watch it.
Yeah, it's really good.
There is kind of a twist at the end because they do get out.
Yeah.
She sort of has an epiphany. She takes back the Philosopher's Stone with the help of this other guy who's been bitten at this point. He's almost bleeding out. There's only 3 of them left. And he sort of makes her realise that it's not the real stone, so she goes all the way back up, gets rid of it, and then she kind of she's like as above so below, and what you see is what your world is, type of thing, sort of saying you visualise. So she starts looking through these weird things that are going on, and they disappear because she realises it's not really there.
Like I say, it's all your own personal hell.
Yeah, because she sees her dad who hung himself, and she didn't answer the phone, and night did it.
And there's a phone ringing throughout, isn't there?
So she was guilty. She was guilty of that. But then those the main 2 characters, and some random guy from the French side who just got hopped on board, they actually make it out, but the way they make it out is really clever. They're at the bottom of this thing, they have to jump down this massive well, and they do it's like a leap of faith almost to cleanse yourself of your sins, type of thing. And they all think they're going to die. They land and they're okay, and there's this hole in the bottom, and they're pushing like mad trying to get it open.
And there's light coming in when they push on it.
And they manage to just get it open and pull it to one side, and they like look out, and there's fresh air out there. And they climb out, and then you go to a street, but upside down street. And they start climbing out of the bottom, and then they're out.
It's quite clever because it doesn't look in any way CGI or anything like that, and
they've just the way they filmed
I know,
it.
but
it's very clever.
And the way they pull themselves out is like they're upside down.
Yeah.
Because the gravity's all like messed up.
But it is all around like finding.
Yeah.
You know, it is Dante's Inferno because they're talking about where they thought hell was, and like if you buried yourself here and do this, and there's loads of like intricate little things that probably like in history somewhere are quite factual, and there's lots of, it's a bit like parts of it is like the Da Vinci Code, you know, the museums and reading stuff and try to do little things and experiments. So it is quite good, but it is when they go in there, it makes you claustrophobic and like just like there's like closed space, but there's really big open chambers, and like you just can't see what's in the corners, and it's a good film. I think it's a really solid film, actually.
I remember liking it when I first saw it, and I'm glad it was on the list. To be honest, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it.
One of a number of subterranean films that we've had this time.
Yeah, I think I must have just gone off on a thread, didn't I, when I did that. I'm going to give it 4 ghouls, surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it 4 because I did enjoy it. I think it's an entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's one to watch. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely one to watch. And your sister really enjoyed it. She'd not seen it before, and she said, "Actually, I really enjoyed that." So yeah, go and see it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We're almost to the end now. So we're at 27. We've only got a few days left. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think we're watching Creep, which is another subterranean film, which is based in the London Tube system. If you want to like, share and subscribe the video, you can. I'm not going to stop you. And it would help us out to be visual seen on the YouTubes. And thanks for watching. And don't have any nightmares. Sleep tight. And remember, shop smart, shop smart.